All right, for those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now, before we get going, I'm going to ask if you could not send me any text messages during the performance because, well, when you're up here and you're moving around and stuff, and all of a sudden you get this big wall of text, it can really throw you off. So if you have any text messages like that, please save it for the end, and I'd appreciate that. Also, if you could stay clear of this, why are you smacking him, Benwill? That's not very nice. You know, that's a real person there. You don't want to be doing that. Throw him off there. Maybe you're trying to get attention. Maybe you're a friend of his. Also, if you could stay off of the stage area here, this way nobody blocks the display, and it gives me a little bit of room to move around, do the whole hosting thing, right? Also, if I can draw your attention to the menu wheel in your lower left, you're going to notice at the very top of that menu wheel is a microphone icon that looks kind of like this here, like right about here, like that. You're going to notice, like when that's clear, that means that everyone can hear what's happening in your environment, right? So we've gone ahead and we've turned that to red, and this means you're muted. Which means if somebody comes into your space and says, hey, are you still on that thing? You feel free to answer them because we're not going to hear any of that. Likewise, if maybe you have a barking dog or something like that in the background, you're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during this event, right? Now, just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't express yourself. You're going to notice that you have a pink-cheeked smiley face on your menu wheel there, and when you press it, your emoji panel opens up in the air in front of you, and it gives you a wide variety of options with which to express yourself, right? You know, like if, for example, I share something deep, something powerful, something meaningful, and you feel it building up inside you, you can just let it out, let it flow just like that. Maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, right? And you're all really impressed. They come out, we put on it, you know, it's Quest Time the musical, and you're very impressed by the production value. You can throw up the applause that I live for, and I can take it a moment to drink it all in like that because it feels good. All right. Also, if I ask you guys a yes or a no question, you could say yes by smiling like this. You can say no by frowning like this, right? Maybe I say or do something funny. You guys want to show me that you're laughing? You can use this silly-faced emoji here to indicate that, right? Also, then there's this emoji, right? This is by far the most distracting of all the emojis, right? We're going to use this not to ask questions. We will be taking questions and comments at the end of this event. But during this event, if something goes wrong, like maybe my voice gets choppy, or maybe the display behind me suddenly bursts into flames because our moderators have seen It's Quest Time one too many times, and you know they're gonna take it out on us, and they've done it before, and they'll probably do it again. And you know, if you guys see something like that, you guys got to help me out and let me know, okay? And you do that by using that emoji right there. If I only see one of them go up, I'm probably gonna keep on going because it might be somebody messing around. But if I see like 5 of them go up, I know there's a problem or something I need to address, right? Now, you're also going to notice there's an X in the middle of the emoji panel, and that's going to close the emoji panel up. But it's a good idea to leave it open during events like this. It gives me some feedback. It lets me know how I'm doing. But more importantly, it's the people around you know what you're experiencing, right? So if, for example, the person next to you starts going like this, right, that means they found something funny, and you may not agree. You might be like, well, that's not funny at all. I'm going to go stand over here. And you can totally do that because this is VR. Well, except not here because, you know, we agreed you weren't going to stand on the stage. And that's part of our sacred bond, people. That's our pact, right? All right, now, also, listen, before we get going, let me first tell you what Quest Time is about. The Quest Time is an event for Oculus Quest users, but all are welcome. So if you're on another device, please feel free to hang around. You may pick up some useful information that helps the growing Quest community because there's new Quest users arriving in Altspace each and every day. Now, before we set out, I hope you still have those panels open because I want to ask you some questions to figure out how to set out from here. How many of you are on an Oculus Quest right now? Show me some hearts. Put up your hands because you can. All right, how many Quest users we have here today? Now, let's see. All right, cool. All right, good. That's a good group. All right, how many of you are new to the Quest? Any new Quest users? Show me some smiley faces or put your hands up. You know, any new Quest users? All right, we have a few. All right, cool. How many of you are new to Altspace? Any new Altspace users today? Let me see here. New Altspace users. Okay. All right, well, welcome to Altspace. I think you're really going to enjoy it. A lot of cool stuff. You know, a lot of good things and fun things to do. Let's see, how many of you are switching over from an Oculus Go, like you used to have a Go and now you have a Quest? Or you're thinking about getting a Quest and you're on a Go? How many of you there? All right, cool. All right, that's a few. All right, cool. That gives me some idea of how to set out. Listen, when I first was waiting on my Quest to arrive, when I first ordered it, right, I had been in Altspace for a while on an Oculus Go. And as some of you may know, the Oculus Go only has one controller. Now, I grew up in Brooklyn, right? So I'm used to expressing myself with my hands. I talk with my hands a lot. But on an Oculus Go in Altspace, all anybody saw was my hand moving around like this, right? So I couldn't wait for this controller to arrive. I couldn't wait to have the two controllers so I can move both hands around, right? I figured I'd be able to express myself, more that way. And while, when my Quest did arrive, I took a good look at the controllers and I was like, man, that's a lot of buttons. That's a lot to take in, especially if you're new. And it can take a bit to get used to. Don't worry, you will pick it up quickly. But I do like to go over these controls in case, somebody's just getting used to it. And if you're already here today, listen, I know you have a handle on the basics, right? Like, the left thumbstick's going to move you around like this, right? The right thumbstick's going to spin you around like this. And when you combine them, you get these big, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. If you could, go ahead and try this. Go in these, like, big circles like this, because this way, when I look out, it's going to look like you guys are ballroom dancing. Let me see what you got. All right, a few of you. That's kind of fancy. Looking good. I always say I wish you guys could see what this looks like, and now you can. If you look up in the air, you're going to see Raven Eye floating in the air above you guys. That's our YouTube camera. So if you want to feel Altspace famous, come up onto this rug area here, turn around, face the camera, and be like, hey, YouTube, how's it going? Come on into Altspace. We got a lot of cool people in here. We got Benwill 1146. We got Citrus Juice in here. We got Leo up in here waving in the orange. We got Super Junior 2323 in the blue on the end there. And we also have, let's see, Arton. I hope I'm saying that right. Arton 2012. Always not good at pronouncing the names, but we have a lot of people in here. Come on in and join us. All right, let's see. Who else do we have? All right, let's see. We have a few in the back, and they're not going to show up on camera, so that's cool. All right, so let's get into it and start by talking about these grip buttons on the side here. You got one on your right controller on the side and one on your left controller on this side. And you're going to use this to interact with your environment, right? So, like, you're going to use this if you say you're in the World Beta Building Program, which is hard to say, but easy to enable. If you go into your main menu and go to Settings and go to General, you can enable this and it'll allow you to build worlds in Altspace with your own two hands, right? And when you do that, you'll be able to interact with the world and, grab objects with either hand, which is pretty cool. You could also grab, like, rockets. You can also, grab those beanbags in the campfire. Those are a lot of fun. You can also grab these basketballs here. And if you've never tried the grip button here, I'm going to toss a couple of these out or a few of them. And this way, you can try that grip button out if you've never done it before. So just aim at one of the basketballs and squeeze your grip button, and you'll be able to grab one of these and throw them around a little bit. Now, if you're having a standing experience in Altspace, if you're working in the room scale, right, it's always going to happen that you'll walk out past your main menu occasionally, right? And when you do that, that's usually the time for some reason when somebody asks you, hey, open your main menu. And you're going to look around. You can be like, oh, where is this thing? Where did I put this thing? And it's always behind you, right? That can get pretty annoying and it can get pretty old. It's so important to remember that on an Oculus Quest, your main menu is in your hands at all times. You're going to notice that on your left controller down toward the bottom is its flat button right here. Now, when you press that button, your main menu is going to open up in front of you, right? And what you can do, what I like to do anyway, is I flick my hand out when I do it. Like, my menu just opened, right? Now my menu's closed. You don't have to do the hand flick. I just think it adds something, but you'll always have your main menu available to you if you walk out past it for any reason. Now, when I first came into Altspace on a Quest, right, I noticed that I was, like, a little bit, taller than everybody else, right? And I'm looking around and I kind of look like the way Super Junior 2323 looks here. Now, Super, if you wouldn't mind, actually press down on your left thumbstick and show everybody what happens when you press down on it like it's a button, because it is. All right, there you go, boom. Now, if you feel like you're too tall or you're too short, all you do is push down on the left thumbstick like it's a button, because it is, and you're going to find that recenters you and that adjusts your height. The important thing to remember is that you want to be looking straight when you do this. If you're looking down and you press down on that button, you're going to notice you hop up a little bit. All right, it used to be a lot more noticeable when we have feet. Like, I can walk around here and you guys will be like, oh, that Michael Forrest sure is tall, right? But all you have to do to make sure you get it right, is if you look straight ahead and press that left thumbstick down, right? If you had feet, they would be on the floor, okay? Because we've recently lost our feet and I'm still not over it. All right, so let's see what else we have here. Now, also on your right controller, you have this top button here. That's your teleport button. Now, if everybody joins me up along this wall here, right? What we can do is if you press down on that button and you aim it at the floor, you're going to see your teleport target appear on the floor in front of you, right? Now, if you aim it across the room and you let go, boom, you get thrown right across the room just like that. Everybody teleport over to me while there's still time. All right, now on your left controller, you're going to notice that you have on your left index finger, if you squeeze that trigger, this is going to cause you to accelerate whether you're walking or flying. It's going to make you go faster. So if you hold that down and you go around like this, right, you can make a big circle. Maybe we can make a tornado in here. Maybe we can make a hurricane. Maybe we can make it rain, people. If you're feeling dizzy, you probably shouldn't do this. So let me take a look out and see how you guys are doing with the formation here. All right, that is not circular at all. Or you guys aren't. I know we don't have a big crowd today, but it's like you guys aren't even trying. It's more of a rectangle. That's wow. Okay. Wow. All right. You guys let me down. You really did. Okay. I don't know what to do with that. All right. Well, I'll tell you. Well, I'll show you one other thing you can do. All right. If you're holding down that trigger to go fast, right, and you like face the stage area here, right, and you go backwards while holding down that trigger, like going fast, and you teleport at the floor, you can do the Altspace Moonwalk, which I'm hoping is not a trademark or copyright infringement, because that would be bad. But when I first started playing with this stuff, oh, another thing you can do that's pretty cool is one time, you guys may have noticed I come down into the audience a lot, right? And there was this one time where, I came down here and the audience was crowded around me. I needed to get back on the stage in a hurry, right? And I don't know why I never thought to do this before. You're always learning new stuff in Altspace. Sometimes it just comes to you like this. And I reached over my head like this, and I teleported backwards. So you can teleport backwards. Give that a try. Put your arm over your shoulder and just teleport backwards. So you can do it. I believe in you. All right, there we go. Oh, cool. All right, you guys did it. Awesome. All right, now, when I was first getting a handle on those stuff, I went to the Universe, right? And back then it was held in this really large world. And when the event was over, I went over to the edge of the world to, go exploring, and I got a little bit too close to the edge, and all of a sudden, I fell off, right? I fell, and I'm falling, and I look over, and I see this cliff there, and I was able to aim my teleporter at the cliff, right, and let go, and boom, I was thrown on the cliff and to safety. And you know what? Right? It's not like you can get hurt in Altspace, right? But I did prevent myself from respawning, and it occurred to me I was finally starting to get used to the controls. Right, and you will too. It only takes a few days to a week or so, and there's going to come a point, you're going to remember me saying this, that you'll always feel the plastic in your hands, right? But there's going to come a time where these just become your hands, where you won't think about it. You'll just make these gestures. Like if I tell everybody, hey, everybody, look out that window, right? You guys aren't, I don't even think about how to do it. It takes more effort to explain it. I hear that I'm choppy. Anybody else think my voice is choppy? My voice cut out there a little bit? A little bit? All right, yeah? All right, what I'm going to do is, it's not professional, but I'm going to re-enter the space. All right, and see if that helps. I'll be right back just a second. Wow. Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's this about? What's this event about? Oh, this is that one with Michael Forrest, man. I've heard he's good. Let's check it out. Oh, wait, that's me. Okay, all right, gonna get up on the stage here. All right, lost my pointer and everything. For some reason, when you re-enter the space, you lose your pointer, and I got to say, that's not cool. I don't like that, because it takes away my pointer, and I need this thing. I need this to point this stuff, right? All right, so let's see, where was I? All right, so just to make those gestures, right, what we want to do is if you hold down your grip button on your side of your controller, you'll find that your hand points. Right now, you do it on your other controller, and that hand's going to go in no point. And you can use this in a variety of ways, right? You can give me like a Brooklyn hello, be like that, be like, how you doing? I see somebody's got the picture frame like this, right? Go like that, take a picture, make this moment last forever, make it squeeze the trigger to get like the shutter effect. How cool would it be to take a screenshot like this, right? Now, if you put your hands together like this, you can make a triangle like the Altspace logo. Everybody hold them up high. Show me some Altspace pride. There you go. Feel it, man. Feel it going through you. Be like, yeah, I am Altspace, and it's awesome. All right, now if you squeeze your triggers down, right, you also get 2 thumbs up. Tell me I'm doing a good job. Maybe I'm not. Give me 2 thumbs down. It's like that choppy voice bit was kind of unprofessional. Maybe you don't know yet. Maybe you can give me a little bit of both, right? Like that. We got one guy over there doing a thing with the thumb. That's cool. If you touch your thumbs to the buttons or the thumbstick, you're going to find that your thumbs go down, right? And you can actually combine this into like sort of a dance move, right? I'm told this isn't as cool as I think it is, but I like doing it, so I'm going to keep on doing it, right? All right, and you're going to find when people do stuff that you like, the best way to pick this stuff up is to copy or mirror them. When you see somebody doing something you like one of the first quest times we ever had, somebody came up to the stage and they were going like this, and I thought it was awesome, and I was like, I did it back. And then the whole audience started doing it. You had like 60 people going like this at the same time, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing, right? Because you had people all over the world making that same gesture. I just thought it was neat. So if you see somebody doing something that you like somebody think that Super Junior's like arm stretches here are awesome and you want to do it too, figure out how he's doing it. It's like, okay, he's making 2 fists, right? And he's putting them up like that, and he's kind of rocking back and forth. He's kind of swaying. All right, I like that. So now I'm doing it too, right? And then you guys, if you like that, you can kind of join in on it, right? Like last week we had somebody in the audience that kept going like this, right? I thought that was cool, and I started doing it too. And then we had like the whole crowd doing that, right? Just moving it, feeling it together, right? Just like that. All right, so let's see. What else do we have here? Some important information that we got. Let's see. We also have this now. Don't press this now, because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it, right? But you got this bottom flat button on your right controller. This is the best way to leave Altspace, all right? So if somebody comes in your space and says, hey, dinner's ready, something important like that, you'd be like, gotta go, and you press that flat button, right? And then you're going to have a menu in front of you that asks you if you want to quit or resume. That resume button is great if you press it by accident. Like if you're dancing around at the Universe and all of a sudden you hit that button on accident, you're like, uh-oh. You hit resume, you come back into Altspace, it'll be like you never left. Usually won't even notice, and then she won't destroy you with her awesome admin powers. I've heard that can happen. Very scary stuff. But what you do is you just hit that flat button there, and then you hit quit, and the app will close. But you know what? This button is also great in the event that you have a problem, right? Like, so let's say that I turn my head to the left, right? And I look out the window and I'm like, oh, what a nice view out there. And when I turn my head back, the whole world moves with me, right? That can make you feel really dizzy when you're in Altspace. That can make you feel kind of sick, right? Not just in Altspace, but other apps too. So what you're going to want to do is if you press that flat button on the right controller and you press quit, you can restart the app, and that's going to solve most of the problems that you can have in here. But occasionally, so it's going to happen is like, let's say you look to the left and there's a black void on the edge of your screen. You're like, uh-oh, it's happening again. It happened last week. And then if you look up, you see a black void. You look down and to the right, you see a black void, and all your friends are frozen in space like this, and they all look very dramatic, right? Something's wrong, right? And this can happen in other apps too, because you'll press that flat button to eject out of Altspace. That's like your eject button, and nothing happens. And you're like, Michael Forrest lied to me. That's not what's going on. What's going on is your device is frozen, and that can happen in other apps too. And in this case, you're going to need to restart your headset. Now, when I first got my Quest, I would take the headset off to restart it. But what I found was when the device isn't in a charge cycle and you're plugging it in, it's not lighting up, and it takes a long time to restart holding down that button, you can get to thinking that there's something wrong with your device. I know that's what I thought. So I got in the habit, and you should too, of being able to restart your headset while it's still on your head. And the way you do this is you take your index hand. I'm getting a hand pop in there. Am I choppy again? My voice going again? No, you just messing around? Super. You got a question? We'll be taking questions at the end, so hang on to that, okay? Maybe you're just saying, hey, how's it going? Right? But yeah, so what can happen is, let's see, you're pointing over there. Okay, what are you pointing at? All right, well, it really threw me off there. I lost my place. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. No, all right. Oh, yeah. So what you want to do is you take your index finger on your right hand and you swipe it along the side of the device, right? And you're going to feel the raised up power button, right? Now take the index finger of your other hand and you kind of squeeze them together. Now, when you do, I find it helps to look down like you're in a deep concentration pose, right? Kind of lets everybody know something amazing is about to happen. And then after about 4 seconds, right, you concentrate so hard that your avatar disappears and you get plunged into the darkness, but you don't let go. You hang on, right? After about 10 seconds, you start to wonder, why did Oculus make it take so long? I don't know. After about 15 seconds, you start thinking about friends you haven't seen in a while. You wonder how they're doing. Like I wonder how Hummingbird's doing these days. She's getting around there. And then, after about 20 seconds, you start thinking about life. You start thinking about the big questions, right? And then after about 20-something seconds, right, all of a sudden you see the Oculus logo emerge like the bat signal, right? And then when it starts to pulse, you just pull your hands away, right? And what'll happen is your device will start normally. You come back into Altspace. And this is going to take care of most of the problems that you can have in here. This is also going to take care of problems you might have in other apps, right? But occasionally something more serious might happen, right? Like there's one time I came out of Altspace and there was this message that said Oculus Room is closing. And I'm like, okay. And that's what the button said. Okay, if you ever see this, you probably want to do that deep concentration pose thing. Because what happened was I pressed OK, and then the screen just said loading, right? So I waited for this for a while and nothing happened, right? So I went into my deep concentration pose, right? And the device restarted. And what happened was, the screen still said loading. And I knew this was a serious issue. So I asked Google about it. And Google was like, hey, whoa, you got up on the stage there. Citrus, I thought we had an agreement. We had a pact that you weren't going to come up here. That's not cool. All right. Well, what can happen here is when that does occur, right? Like Google, I asked Google about it, and Google's like, a lot of people are having this problem. What you need to do is a factory reset. Now, it's important to keep in mind if you have to do a factory reset that you're going to lose, all of your apps. You're going to have to re-download those. You won't have to pay for them again, but you will have to re-download them. Likewise, if you have any photographs or anything like that saved on your device, you're going to lose all of that, right? So try to back them up if you can. In addition to that, you're going to lose some of your settings too. Like you might lose your Beat Saber scores, okay? So that's serious business. You don't want to be losing those Beat Saber scores because then you're going to be like, oh, I got to start all over again. I got to beat my friends right from the beginning. Maybe you do want to do that. That might be like kind of rewarding. I don't know. But you will lose all that stuff if you have to do a factory reset. But I think it's important to know that it's there, and essentially this is going to put the headset back the way it was when you first got the device, right? Now, let's see here. Now, if you're here today, you're already familiar with the Guardian system, right? You've done the tour, you danced with the robot, you played with the blimp. That's a lot of fun, right? But what you may not know is how to use that device, right? Or how to use that Guardian system to your advantage while you're in Altspace, because you can. You remember earlier when we were going around that circle and I asked if anybody was dizzy, especially if you're new to VR. And even if you're not on a Quest, what you can do if you experience dizziness in VR is you can hold your hand up to your face like this. And even though that's not your real hand, if you focus on it, it can make that dizziness pass, right? And when that happens, when the dizziness starts to pass, you can take that hand away slowly, take in the world around you, and that can help. But your Guardian system can also help with this. Now, I like to tell people when they mess around with their Guardian system, please be very careful. There's a lot of times in Altspace, you'll see somebody walking along, they're having a good day, then all of a sudden, bam, they hit a wall in the real world. All right, those walls are a menace, and that can happen. What you're going to want to do in the beginning, especially, is kind of lead with your hands, right? and, kind of feel the environment out. And when you get close to the edge of your boundary, you're going to see that grid appear in the air in front of you, right? So if I walk up to my real world wall right now, walk up to my wall here, and all of a sudden that grid appears in the air in front of me, I lead with my hands. That helps, right? So now I see that grid in front of me, but you know what? I can still touch my thumbsticks, which means I can move my avatar around while I'm standing still in the real world, right? And what I could do is I can walk up to this display here, right, and kind of anchor it to the real world, line it up with my wall, right? Get that to match, right? All right, awesome. And now I can, step backward, take it all in, see how that looks, and, drink it in, make sure I've got it nice and adjusted. And then, oh no, I've fallen off the stage. I'm in the audience. Now, let's say you guys are a very hostile audience, like very energetic, and you guys want to mess with me. Come on up to me and stick your hands on my face and try to throw me off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this display here, and no matter what you guys do to me, you notice my voice isn't going to stutter. I'm not losing my place at all. You guys, no matter what you do, you can't mess me up as long as I can see that screen. Sometimes you guys get pretty good at blocking my vision out, but that display is huge, and I can still see it, right? So another thing you can do is, see the edge of the stage here? You can line this up with a real-world desk or real-world table, right? And this is going to help you feel connected to the real world. It's going to help you feel balanced. And this can really help with that sense of dizziness and vertigo that you'll sometimes experience in VR while you get your VR legs and while you get used to it. Keeping it connected to the real world's a good strategy to help manage that, okay? Now, in addition to that, you can transition between a room scale experience or a stationary experience effortlessly while you're in Altspace. So let's say I'm up here and you know what? I'm like, I've done 350 events in Altspace and I'm exhausted, right? The other day it was a 350th. I don't even know what number we're up to. It's just a lot. And I'm tired. I'm really tired. I don't know how much longer I can do this, right? So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to walk up to the edge of my space, right? Lead with my hands. Make sure, let's see, someone was behind me. Okay, that might be one of our mods. Thanks, Super Junior, but try not to send me text during the performance. I appreciate it. Thanks. But if somebody made it up there behind me, I hope they waved their hands around a lot. Did they look enthusiastic, Super Junior? Were they did they look excited? Were they going like this? Like, I made it on the stage. I did it. No, none of that. Okay. All right. Well, what can happen is, let's say I walk up to the edge of my boundary, right? I lead with my hands, right? And now they have this new experimental feature, which is pretty cool. Because when you lead with your hands like that, you move your head through and that pass-through camera goes off. But there's an experimental feature now where you can double tap the device like this, go tap, tap, and all of a sudden your camera goes off and you can see the real world around you. You're like, wow, it's the real world. The graphics are amazing, right? And I see I got my chair over there, and I can go over into my chair like this, right? And turn around, and as I sit down, I press that blue button saying I want to have a stationary experience, right? And now when I do, the grid pops up, and I find that not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never left. The only difference is my height's going to be off because since I sat down, I'm going to be down there now. But if I press down on that left thumbstick, I'm going to pop up, and, it's going to be like I never left, all right? And this works in the other direction, too. I was moderating an event one time, and I felt like getting up and walking around. So I figured I'd get up and I step into my Guardian. That's what usually works. But for some reason, my Quest lost the Guardian. That can happen sometimes due to changing light level, or for one reason or another, your device can't resolve where it is in the real world, right? So it wants you to draw a new boundary. No big deal, right? But when it's 2 minutes left in the event, it's a very big deal. So I start to panic, and I start to draw out that boundary. And I'm drawing out, and I'm like, why is my space so big, people? I don't understand why it's so large in here. And I don't know, of all the days I had to moderate for admin, why did it have to be today, right? And as soon as I close that loop, the grid pops out of the ground, right? And I find that I'm still in Altspace. I never left. All anybody saw was my avatar frozen like this. I always pause there, right? And it's funny. Well, there was this one time where when I paused like that, I actually lost my connection, right? So everybody's standing out in the audience before I disappeared, and they're all standing at me frozen, and we kind of, and we're like, oh, wow, this guy's really invested. He's really into the role. Look at him. He's completely committed to this. And then I disappeared. It was kind of funny. I got my connection back a minute later, so I got back in time, but it was pretty funny. I always think about that when I do that bit. All right, so let's see here. Now, another cool thing you can do, right, is if you go up to the edge of your space, and you got it, again, lead with your hands. Make sure you got enough room for your head to pass through it, right? So you can, that pass-through camera goes off. If you do this super slow, this isn't useful information. This is just cool. If you do this super slow, you're going to actually see both realities at the same time. And what can happen is you can merge the environments. Like, so if, for example, you do that really slow and you can see both at once, you're going to be able to see Altspace avatars in like your living room or your office, wherever it is you VR from, right? And this will give you a real sense of scale. You'll notice that Altspace avatars are about 6 feet tall. They're a lot wider than you would think, too. And it really drives it home when you actually see them in a familiar environment, like, your home or your office or something like that. All right, and it's worth trying. It's a lot of fun. All right, let's see. Now, one of the great things about the Quest is it just works. Now, that doesn't mean it can't work better, right? you're going to notice I have a lot of cool accessories for the Quest, like, those earbuds that dangle down. Now, I don't know what I look like when I'm in VR, but I like to think, well, I got these things on, I look fancy, right? And the first time I tried these out, I wasn't expecting much because the sound on the Quest was pretty amazing. But I went to the campfire in these things to see what it was like. And did you guys know there's a breeze in the campfire? I've been in here for like over a year, and nobody ever told me that. I had no idea. I went over to that fence area, and I heard water rushing by. I'd never heard that before, right? So it turns out there's a lot of ambient sounds, available in Altspace that can make the experience more rich and more immersive, right? And it can really pull you in here, right? And that's kind of what this is all about, isn't it? Feeling like we're all here together, and that can really add to it. So the earbuds are pretty awesome. Now, another thing that available. Now, listen. Oculus does not advertise enough. There is a breaking in period for your headset. So if you just got your headset and you notice it's a little uncomfortable, like for me, I got a sore on my forehead when I first started using it, right? I see somebody's nodding. They're probably going through that right now, right, Richard? Right? Yeah. All right. Well, it turns out, and Oculus doesn't advertise this enough, that there is a breaking in period for your headset. Right? The oils in your face are going to soften that insert, right? And the springs are going to change their tension, and this is actually going to affect the balance of the device. Now, what happens is when people first get the device, they figure, you know what? It's not comfortable. I'm going to modify it. And they'll buy like counterbalance weights. They'll buy external battery packs. They'll buy all this stuff. And then they'll get the balance just so. And then in a week or so, when the device is broken in, the balance gets thrown off again. And they're going to be like, well, the Quest just isn't comfortable. And it's not true. I know people that have actually returned the device because of this. And, what you want to do is give it a couple of weeks or so to get used to the device and let the device get used to you. And then after that, if you want to modify the device because it's not comfortable, then that's the time to modify it. All right. Only have to do it once. Right. And speaking of modifications like that, there's a cover by VR Cover that's really great. They give you two. You can wash one while the other one's in use. It feels like you have your face in a pillow. It's very comfortable. And, it's a good thing to use. Like, if you're feeling like the headset's a little uncomfortable for you, it can really add to the experience I found. You can also, since you can wash one while the other one's in use, you can keep it nice and hygienic. It's really good stuff. Also, you can get these prescription inserts to protect your headset if you wear glasses, right? Because, you don't scratch your eyeglasses. You don't want to scratch your VR headset. If that happens, that can get pretty expensive, right? So these prescription inserts will help you avoid that. And speaking of protecting your device, the box that the Quest comes in is amazing, all right? So when it's not in use, store it in that box. But if you're going to be traveling around a lot or moving around, I can't recommend one of these travel cases enough that we have here on the bottom. If you want to try any of these devices out, because listen, if something happens to your headset, right, you're not going to experience like, it's not going to be like losing your toaster, right? You can experience this as an actual loss. If you're spending a lot of time in Altspace and you made some friends in here, if something happens to your headset, you're going to really feel it. All right, so you want to take really good care of your equipment. And this travel case is a great way to do that. Now, if you want to try any of these products out, you can go to altvr.com, and once there, you're going to see in the upper left is a link that says channels. Now, when you press on channels, you're going to see all these great Altspace event channels available. And down toward the bottom, I'm told that doesn't mean anything. They've assured me it doesn't mean anything that we're on the bottom. But if you press Ravenhall events down toward the bottom, you get taken to our event page, right? And on our event page, you'll see all these products listed out on the left-hand side. If you'd like to give any of them a try, you'll also see a join Discord button if you want to join our Discord and say hello. We hang out, maybe ask some questions or help us put on events like this. Then we take care of all that there. And also in the upper right's the most important button on the internet. It's true. That's where they keep it. It's a subscribe button. And when you press that subscribe button, it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content. And we don't get paid to do this, so we feel good every time that number goes up. Even better when our YouTube subscribers go up. We love that. And if you are watching on YouTube today, please, you'll find these links for these products if you want to try any in the description below. Okay. And if I see we've got Leo waving out to you, feeling Altspace famous. Go ahead, Leo, wave on out to YouTube. Be like, hey, YouTube, how we doing? We did that bit earlier. I don't know if Leo was here for that. But now Leo gets to feel famous. All right, now we will be taking your questions and your comments at this time. And the way we're going to do this is you're going to notice in your lower right, you're going to have a raise hand button appear as if by magic, okay? That's what magic looks like at VR, it's true. Now, when you press on that raise hand button, you're going to get on my list and we'll be able to take your questions. I'm a little over time, so I don't have time for a lot of them. But while we're waiting for that to fill up, if you want to find us on Twitter, you can find us at _ Uncanny Valley, right? I know that looks like one underscore, but it is actually two. All right, let's see. I'm not seeing the hand raise. Oh, did it go away? Let's see. That hand raise thing is not working. What's going on? Let's see. All right, there we go. I think we got it now. All right, if you have any questions or comments, so you just press that raise hand button. Let's see. We got Leo. Leo, what's going on? You're on the air, Leo. What do you got?
Okay, so all right, the travel case. Is it, now let's say that I'm holding it, I trip and it falls.
Okay.
How protective is it of the Oculus?
Well, it's a hard shell on the outside, and inside there's a lot of soft foam. It would actually, minimize the impact. I wouldn't want to do it, but it would minimize the impact more than it would be if you didn't have the case on it. All right, I haven't extensively tested it like I didn't stand up there on the balcony and drop the case down repeatedly, going just in case Leo asks his questions. I need to be ready, But I mean, I'm sure that they have done tests on it, and it will minimize the damage. I've actually dropped my headset without a case on it, and it was okay. All right, so maybe I just got lucky. That's possible. Maybe I just very fortunate, and maybe it landed in just that perfect way. But I'd like to think that the case, since it has a hard shell, will add to it. But I'm extremely protective of my device because it's like if something happens to it, I'm not going to be able to put on my events anymore, and that would be tragic. Right. All right, let's see. We also have Super Junior. Super Junior, you're on the air. You have a question or a comment or something like that?
Yeah. So I have, well, it's not a question or a comment, but whenever you said, but couple of minutes ago, there was a person in a black suit, in a black jacket behind you,
really?
Dancing. I don't know
they were dancing?
where he came from. Yeah, but I don't know what happened.
Did anybody else see this? Yeah. Was the person wearing a hat? Was the person wearing a hat at all?
No.
Okay, let's see. I see a hand going up from Hummingbird. Okay, let's see. All right, well, I'm not sure what that was, but it is possible somebody could have made it up on the stage. They're just messing around. That could happen occasionally. We used to not have the stage blocker on. Speaking of stage blockers, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn that off because at this point, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to press that button over there on the wall. Maybe you guys can help me out with that. Let's walk on over there, right, and press this button together because sometimes it sticks, right? We're going to, all push on it. We're going to give it a good shove, put your back into it, right, on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and I keep losing the button there. We're going to back up a little bit here. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Wow, the button really is sticking. Yeah, that was just a bit. There we go. Let's see. It's okay. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Okay. It's kind of sticking there. All right, everybody, back up slightly. I'm going to try giving it a good shove. Let's see.
Ravenhall Talon aircraft en route to your position.
There we go. Awesome. If you look out the window, you'll see a Talon hovercraft flying down the street. It's going up into the air there. It's going to fly over those trees and land in the backyard. So let's go out and meet it. It's because we're going to take that to the Ravenhall Flight Academy where we take everybody flying. But listen, if you've learned anything here today, please share it with those you come in contact with. Like if you're standing around, somebody's down low and you say, what's wrong? And they're like, I'm on a quest, I'm stuck on the ground. You tell them to push down that left thumbstick. They'll pop up and they'll feel better. You'll feel better because you help somebody, and that's how we help keep this thing going.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time.